What is up, Sushi Squad? Today we are going to be talking about my workouts. Now, I've actually recorded this video multiple times, never been satisfied with it, so I'm hoping that this is going to end up being the best take. Basically, we're going to be talking about my workout routine, what I've been doing over the past 30 days, because those that have kept up with my vlogging and stuff, I've actually been going to the gym solid 30 days. Now, on top of that, I'm also a freak, and sometimes I go to the gym twice in one day. Because screw it, why not? Now, that said, the most important thing to working out every day, for me anyways, I think I found the secret, is that I've been waking up, and the second that I wake up, I get ready and I walk to the gym. I walk to the gym every day rather than drive there. I feel like the cardio and everything like that is just a lot better for me, because otherwise I have a pretty sedentary life. You know, this YouTube being my job, I'm kind of sitting on the computer all day just grinding and playing video games and making videos and stuff like that for you guys. And so I felt that I needed to end up getting some cardio in my life, and walking to the gym has definitely helped. It's very meditative for me in a way. And just generally speaking, I feel it's a really good warm-up before I end up going into the gym, and thus it's prevented me from getting a lot of injuries that I might have otherwise gotten in the past. And on top of that, I've been very, very fortunate that I haven't gotten sick or anything. Like, I haven't gotten a cold or haven't been unwell. Which usually whenever I'm going to the gym for a long period of time, something will end up coming up like that pulls me out of the gym, so I have to recover for a few days, and then it's really, really difficult for me to get back into the routine of things. It's just kind of the type of personality that I am. Now, that said, here's going to end up being our before and after picture, which, as you can see, is not super substantial over the course of 30 days. What am I doing wrong? Well, not really that much. Generally speaking, I'm putting in the time, I'm putting in the effort, and that's already more than most people can end up saying. However, I wanted to end up bringing up some discrepancies with you guys, because I feel like as a video focusing on working out, I need to end up being responsible as a content creator to let you guys know you will never look like this, no matter how much you work out. This is somebody who is juicing, okay? This is steroids. Steroids are going to end up basically being a cheat mode in real life. Studies have shown and proven that me going to the gym over the course of 30 days versus someone on steroids who is literally sitting on their ass on the couch, they will get more gains than me. The thing is that this whole process of gaining strength and, you know, getting strong and everything like that is very slow. Very, very slow. Like, I will probably more so look a lot different in a couple months rather than just 30 days. Oh wow, look at all the changes, right? The other last thing that I did want to mention is that while I'm going to be sharing with you guys my exercises that I've been doing over the past 30 days, and I do highly recommend this setup that I have done, I'm actually in the process from today on completely changing my workouts. And I would recommend that you do that from time to time, because your muscles are very smart and they're going to be very, very good at getting used to specific exercises. The only difference between my exercises from today on is that they are going to end up touching upon each of the categories that we're going to talk about today. However, they are going to be much more efficient exercises, and I can't really give you any feedback about them just yet, but we'll save that for in a couple months. So each of the days is going to end up being as follows. 5 days worth of exercises: chest, upper back, arms, shoulders, back, and legs. Those are going to end up being all through the course of 5 days. And you can end up doing all of these exercises that I'm about to share with you guys for 5 days, and then you would end up taking your break before you end up going back to it, because recovery is important. Which, generally speaking, working out every day for like 30 days, I was exhausted when I first started doing it, because my body wasn't used to it, and my body was also in a constant state of recovery, which is just so physically draining. Like, it's just bleh. So for the chest day, this is going to end up being very different than you might expect. We're going to start with dumbbell bench press, and almost all of these exercises are going to end up involving the dumbbells one way or another, because it means that what a dumbbell does is, because it's individual weights, it means that you cannot compensate with your right or left half. That said, these exercises are also going to end up taking place on the floor because of the risk to danger factor of being on an actual bench. you can end up tearing your chest and stuff. It's just, there's so many bad things that can happen, and I absolutely hate doing the dumbbell or not dumbbell, the barbell bench. It's just like, if you don't have somebody as your spotter, somebody spotting you is literally someone standing over you, breathing on you, and just waiting until you fail to lift the weight, and then they end up helping you by grabbing it and lifting it up. Because otherwise, if you don't have anybody spotting you and you're lifting a super heavy weight, you can't do anything. Up next is going to end up being the bench fly. This is where we lower the weight considerably from the bench. Obviously, the bench can end up going pretty heavy, and then we end up doing a pullover. I think that's what this exercise is called. I don't know. I'm just gonna be using stock images and stuff like that, because generally speaking, I don't feel comfortable filming myself at the gym when there's way too many people there. And then lastly, there would end up being the barbell bench that I just said how much I hate, but this is going to end up being a variant. So we're actually going to be doing this one on the floor. And because we're trying to focus on a very specific area of the chest, we're going to end up putting, I don't know, it's like a yoga cube, it's like a foam cube thing. You put that on your chest so that you can only really press the barbell down onto that, so it doesn't really give you like the full range of motion. It kind of stops you at the halfway point, and then you end up pushing it up from there. And generally speaking, I find that is a lot better for hitting the chest area specifically. Moving on to day 2, which is going to end up being the upper back, we're going to start with the reverse fly. This is the one where you lean forward, and it's a little bit of an annoying exercise, especially if you don't have a strong back. You got to be very careful with this one. Another way that you can compensate is you could end up doing this on a bench, just having your face right on it. But generally speaking, you got to be very careful with the way that you end up rotating your shoulders, because that's going to end up being super duper important to the risk reward scenario. Like, you don't want to end up injuring yourself based on how you're going to end up doing this with your shoulders, right? So anyways, then there's going to end up being the bent over. That's all I have written here, the bent over, whatever that exercise is. I'll put the images here. There you go. Then there's going to be the wide row, or as my brother and I like to call this, the monkey, because that's what it looks like. It's just a monkey picking up a weight. It's stupid. I hate this exercise so much, but it's a really good one because you can end up really overloading with it. That one is going to end up using a barbell, where the other 2 exercises I had mentioned are going to end up using dumbbells. Moving on to day 3, which is going to be arm day, one of my favorite days, because God, I want big arms. Like, seriously, like this. Look at this. It's not bad, but it's not great. Like, I want them to be bigger, but it's very difficult for me to end up building my top half, my upper body. Bicep curls, hammer curls, lying curls. That's going to end up tackling your bicep, and then moving into tricep kickback, lying French press. And then we end with a superset of doing a French press, a standing French press into hammer curls. Moving on to day 4, which is shoulder day. Day 4 is usually I really like shoulder day, because I always dread that it's going to be back and leg day. And then I look at my phone and I go, oh, thank God, it's not. So we start with an overhead press, and then we go into lateral raise, or L raise. And basically these are the super important ones that I would recommend. If there's one tip that I give you guys, it's when you're doing the lat raise, put your thumb up. Okay, that's going to make all the difference for your shoulder. Next is going to end up being the Arnold raise, which is a great exercise, but I am currently cutting it out of my repertoire because it's apparently also a really bad one for your shoulders, just shoulder health wise, not necessarily growth. And then we end with a front raise. Make sure when you're doing the front raise that you have it at a low enough weight that you can do the exercise properly, not just throwing it up like you're skiing. Okay, that's kind of the most important thing to all of these exercises, is form is key. That is actually more important than lifting heavy weights. You want to end up having the weights at a point where you can still end up tackling the exercise without compromising your form. And the reason why I'm delaying is because obviously we're getting into the worst of the worst, which is going to end up being day 5, back and legs. So the back, I mean, basically all I really do for the back outside of, the upper back exercises is just the deadlift, which the deadlift just kills me, man. Like the way that I do it, I just load that thing up and I just get her done, right? And generally speaking, my lower back is the one muscle group that I can even feel feel right now. Like, it feels really tight and it feels really sore, which means that I ended up doing a good workout. I didn't pull anything. And then we ended up doing some lunges, some squats. Squats, I give myself the option of either just doing it in that stupid sitting down machine where you're kind of pushing as if you're a crab on its back or a turtle trying to stand up, or you can end up doing just a normal squat in the squat rack, which I hate those the most because they hurt my back. And then finally we end with some calf raises, which these, again, I'm kind of changing up and adjusting the way that I end up doing this. However, I'm probably going to keep those in my general workouts. Now, on top of all of that, I also have a couple extra exercises that I end up adding to pretty much every single set. Almost every day I end up doing some sort of bicep and tricep training. And then the big one that I was on about over these past 30 days was farmer walks, where you basically just pick up weights and you just walk from one side of the room to the other, back and forth, however many times that you can end up doing, right? Essentially, those exercises are just kind of extra for me based on muscle groups that I want to end up developing. And I do still appropriately end up taking breaks when I need to, because taking a break for a specific muscle group is actually really, really important. Even if you feel like you can just keep going and going and going, if you don't end up giving your muscles time to grow, then they won't grow as efficiently. Also, excuse me that I shaved and stuff. I'm actually recording this last segment a couple days after the fact because I was in the middle of editing today's video, and then I realized that I needed to redo the ending. And then the other last tidbit of advice I want to give you guys is to think about working out like this. Your muscles don't know how heavy the weight is. Thank you so much for watching. Smash like, sub for more, buy the merch you want to support the channel, and I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll end up having a follow-up video talking about my newer exercises as I end up getting more used to them, if anybody even cares about watching this video.